And what's up, everybody? We are live. Look at there. We got Ryan Bortz. Ryan Bortz is such a hard-working guy. He's in here twice. He's out in chat and on the screen. Fishing with Big Mike. Downtown Ernie Brown. Kayak Mike, same. In chat and up here. Oh, you're in here 3 times. That's awesome. Oh, nephew Austin, how's it going? Circle Hook Productions. How are you? Great to see all the kayak guys. Steve Mosley, Dave G. We got a boom already. James K. from up the way. $5 super sticker already. Thank you, thank you. My good friend Fishing with the Chad is in. Dobson, hey, what's up? J. Fox Hunter. Let's see. Eric Burnside. Downtown Christy Brown. Got my bro Brian B in here. Grn Mchn is out there in chat. He's going to be coming up here in a little bit. So as you can see, we got 13 awesome people in here already. You can see we got Kayak Mike here with us. I'm sure a lot of y'all familiar with him. And of course, y'all know the guy, the Kentucky guy down at the other end over there. Y'all call him the hardest working guy in catfishing, Ryan Bortz. Catfishing Curtis, boom, making it sprinkle up in here with the $1.99. Thank you, thank you. Dale Hayslip, how's it going? So what we're going to get into tonight, obviously Kayak Mike is the guest here. We're going to get into some things. He runs KCT, Kayak Catfishing Tournaments. And Mike, thanks for coming up.
No problem.
We have, so kayak catfishing. How did you get into this? There was, this seems to be, in my mind, this is one of the biggest growing sectors of catfishing is kayak catfishing. You see it growing every day.
So the way I got started was, I used to just wade fish all the time in Cincinnati, just a night crawler. I grew up in Northeast Pennsylvania, so it was all trout fishing. So I just one day was like, I'm just going to start fishing out here the same way I used to fish for trout and just see what I catch. So I would wade fish the rivers and just bump a night crawler off the bottom, catch a ton of channel cats. And then my buddy, he took me out trophy catfishing, showed me the rigs on the Ohio River and all that stuff. And like my really big catches now turned into my really small catches when I went out with him. And I have that like obsessive compulsive disorder. So I got like super hooked. I started YouTube and everything and learning how to do it and getting better and buying all the gear. And ultimately, like honestly, like a lot of people in this scene, I came across a Kayak Catfishing Justin Johnson video. And then I ended up watching literally every single one of his videos from day one. Because I'm a little weird. I watch YouTube like football players watch tape. Like I watch YouTube for the fun of it, but I also hardcore study YouTube for its film. It's free film that other anglers are putting out there.
You were going to be surprised that there is a lot of us that do that same exact thing.
Yeah.
If you're serious about it, you get that catfish addiction. I know a few people that do that same exact thing. That's awesome.
Yep. And I'm studying like everyone, new anglers, professional anglers, etc. And that's how I ended up getting started. And then I saw Justin competing in tournaments. And I'm like, well, I'm super competitive. I have to do it. So I started doing some tournaments. I got introduced to the regional kayak and cat scene, and I started helping them out. They didn't have a formal leaderboard. I was just like, I'll just make you guys a leaderboard every month, because the way that was working, it's just a bunch of guys that get on Facebook and we submit pictures on the Facebook group. And at the end of the month, it was hand tallied. I'm like, I can improve this a little bit. I'll just make a running leaderboard for you guys throughout the month. And then we decided that started to grow so much. People from other states wanted to jump in, but it's in Ohio. That regional scene is Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana only. And like states like Tennessee and West Virginia, like all these other states wanted to get in. And we're like, we can't. It's just, you can't let those other states in, because in a regional thing anyway, because every winner is going to be from Tennessee then, you know what I mean? And then when you let North Carolina, so we locked it down and we were like, you know what, we're just going to go national. and just see what happens. If it fails, it fails. If it doesn't fail, cool. We have a national scene. So we went national last October. We had a couple free events. I wish I knew it was going to be as easy as it was. Like the administration side, I wish I knew like setting everything up on the app was going to be as easy as it was, or we would have went live paid right away. And then we started like an official series in the beginning of the year. We locked down a few formats about the third month of the year. And something relatively unique to us is it's not that other scenes don't listen to their anglers. It's just there are, and this is tournaments in general. This has nothing to do with fishing. Some administrators get a little stuck in their ways, never want to change anything. This month, we changed up all of our formats because some of the anglers were like, hey, we want to see something different. So that's something that's different with us. Like we listen and we change with the times. We adjust rules, not all the time, not drastically, but we do adjust rules to keep everything fair, up to date, focused on kayak catfishing. We're not following another scene and trying to mimic them. Like it's all about the anglers and it's all about catfish. Like that's what you're going to get from us. Like we're not trying to incorporate another scene's philosophies into what we're doing. It's
right.
And it's truly dedicated to the anglers 100%.
Yeah, well, Stan 3's been involved with it, and I've seen some of that firsthand fishing with him and Dan and Ryan over there. All of us seen Ryan out there in the kayak, so we all had a little taste of it, which is awesome. And let's see, we're up to 23 awesome people. Bottom Feeders is out there. How's it going? Catfishing Curtis, Alvin Lewis. There was a question. Have you ever fished Lake Mchn?
It sounds really familiar. There's a creek called the Mchn where I live back home in Pennsylvania. I'm looking it up right now. I fished Lake Wallenpaupack.
Get out of here. You fished Lake Wallenpaupack up in Pennsylvania?
Yep, we have a cabin on it.
Get out of here. What a small world.
Yep,
I lived in Eldred, New York, which was basically across the Delaware into Sullivan County, New York. So that's awesome.
Yep,
Small world.
Delaware River native trout fishing, in my opinion, is the most fun fishing. Pound for pound, like I will give a native has to be native. I will give a native trout pound for pound the hardest fighting fish out there.
I'd have to probably concur with that after having quite a few of those myself.
Has to be native though. Stock trout, it's not the same thing.
Okay, so here's something that I think the kayak world. I heard y'all are kind of famous for this back and forth with each other. Grn Mchn Outdoors. Have you ever fished Lake Who Wants a Goober? So we got Hooks is in the house. Hooks does some kayak fishing out there. All right, so we've got 20-some people here. It's about 7:15. We're going to get into, first of all, Ryan Bortz. Ryan's link is out there in the description. Dan Grn Mchn's link is out there. And Kayak Mike's link is also out in the description. There's also another link out there in the description on where y'all saw that there was a bank tournament, a monthly bank tournament. That link is out in there also. So the Blue Line Adventure, how's it going? So what we're going to get into is the new tournament that is coming up in the Kayak Catfish Tournaments. And boom, there's Dan sharing it right there. So Mike, you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so Dan's really been pushing having a bank event for a while now. And I finally just got around to making one. And he said there's going to be a lot of interest. I'll give him a lot of credit for really spearheading the bank innovation to our group. And I'm like, I started doing a series with the Scioto River guys. And if anyone's watching who has a group of friends, if anyone ever wants to put on an event, hit me up on Facebook. I can make everything for everybody. That's no problem at all. But onto the bank fishing scene. We were going to gauge interest with this free tournament in September. And within like the first few hours, we had like 4 or 5 entries. And now, yeah. And now, I mean, I'm looking at it right now. We're up to 16 entries for the bank tournament already. All the rules are going to be the same as the kayak catfishing rules. We'll go over how to measure a fish and stuff. The only differences would be, obviously, it's bank. You have to get to your bank fishing spot via vehicle and foot, or foot. If you live on the water, you know, good for you. You don't have to drive. But it has to be vehicle and foot. You cannot kayak to a bank fishing spot. You cannot take any kind of water vessel to a bank fishing spot. This is truly dedicated to bank fishermen. Has to be public waters, and it has to be publicly accessible. That's different than public just being public. So there are some scenes out there that say if you pay, you cannot fish out that launch at that area. If anyone can pay to fish there, it is public access. You can fish there. Like if I go downtown Cincinnati and fish out a public landing, I got to pay $5 to park. It's still legal. Now, if you are part of a private club and you can launch there, but no one else can, you cannot. That is not legal fishing. You cannot fish there. You cannot submit fish that you have caught on that trip. So that's just like the kayak scene too. It has to be publicly accessible to everybody. Paying a launch fee is not the same as a private launch. So as long as it's publicly accessible, anyone can fish. You're going to be your 5 longest fish over the course of the month. We do measurements. We do length. We do not do weight in our scene. It's just too hard to police weight if you really wanted to. I'm aware of some bank tournament scenes that are doing length and girth. I just think there's a little bit too much gray in that to put money on the line. I'm not saying it's like we had talked about this before we went live. I think it's a great way to get. It's pretty dang accurate. I just don't think it's a good way to judge a tournament where there's hundreds of dollars that are going to be put on the line here in the future.
Right. And as long as it's the same rules for everybody, who cares?
Exactly. And no one can argue a 35-inch fish. Anyone can argue the girth of a 35-inch fish. You know what I mean?
Right, because it can be a little sideways or kinked up underneath. It's just, I totally agree.
Yeah, we have an amazing group of guys, but it's going to eventually happen where that one guy is going to come in and try and bend the rules. So you got to prepare for them. That's the unfortunate thing.
We got Tim Molina in the house, Muskrat Adventures in the house. How's it going? Up to 29 awesome people. So for those just coming in, we're talking about the new bank tourney division of Kayak Catfishing Tournaments. It's going to start out in September. The link to sign up is out in the description. Dan has also dropped it in chat, but it's free to join up for the month of September, and you can join up for that. It's September. The September one, is that cut off at the 1st of September, or because it's free, did you open that up longer?
So I opened up the registration for September to end September 30th at midnight. So that way anyone can join at any point in time, submit fish. Any boards are legal for September. I actually just, hopefully somebody at Muskie Bumper hears this and we put a little more pressure on them. I just emailed Muskie Bumper today asking to have some kind of like exclusive deal with them and us. Cause I just told them like, hey, you have a lot of business coming your way via us. So it'd be really like, I'm trying to get a Kayak Catfishing Tournaments Muskie Bumper board. Muskie Bumper, it's going to be hard not to enforce only having a Muskie Bumper going forward for a few reasons. There was no cheap alternative good board out there before. There was a Rapala, which is not a terrible board, but it's not really a board you want to have. Muskie Bumper just came out with a $20 sticker. So we're going to allow people, if they don't want to spend $95 or $80 on a Muskie Bumper, you can buy that sticker and you can DIY your own board. We don't care. Granted, you're going to have to like you're gonna have to get multiple measuring tapes and prove to us it's within like an 1/8 inch from your fence. You're going to have to find a way to prove that your fence is at 90 degrees. I have a musky bumper behind me. We're gonna walk through. So you're essentially gonna have to emulate the musky bumper completely if you're gonna buy the $20 sticker and make your own. But it's amazing. Now we have a $20 sticker option, which never existed before, and you get a super quality sticker and the ability to make your own board. I'm going to buy one and make my own board just to see if I can make mine a little, because now in the kayak, I can figure out a way to make it work in my specific kayak. Right now, the musky bumper is so big, and it's only, they'll do custom orders to an extent, but like they're not custom made to your rig. They're custom made to where you tell them to break it in half. Right. They also just came out with, and then I think this is going to be perfect for the bank fishermen. They just came out with it's called the Bump and Go. It's a $55 option, and it's just the fence and a 60-inch long board, and it's only $55. And I say only because our other options are $95. Yeah, exactly. So musky bumper, they knocked it out of the park. I'm knocking on wood, and I'm hoping they're going to work with us. We're sending them a lot of business. So you got that $20 option where you DIY yourself. If you got wood laying around, make your own musky bumper. Then you got that 54 Bump and Go, which I think is going to be the main one that the bank fishermen buy. It's perfect. And then you got the big one, the Fat Boy, which I encourage kayak anglers to get the Fat Boy because it has that side fence, and that if it wasn't for that side fence, I personally couldn't measure fish in my current kayak because it holds the fish. It kind of cradles the fish into the board.
Yep. Yeah. Especially, you got that 30 plus 40-inch fish and it's across the sides and you're trying to do this and take the picture and yeah, I definitely get it. But for those just coming in, what we're talking about is everybody knows that there's been the Kayak Catfishing Tournaments. We hear Ryan talking about them all the time, and Grn Mchn and Circle Hooks and a bunch of others that are doing the Kayak Catfishing Tournaments. There it is, Circle Hook Productions. Awesome guy. Clint is awesome. Now starting in September is going to be a bank tournament along the same exact lines as the kayak tournament. You got to catch the fish from the bank. We're going to get into how to measure the fish, how to submit the measurement. The month of September is free. The official first bank tournament is going to be in October, and that is a $30 buy-in for that one. $25 for the actual tournament and $5 for big fish, if I'm correct.
You are correct. And,
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be. I know that there's a lot of other people that are looking for that. A lot of catfishermen bank fish, and this is a way for them to get involved in tournaments that normally would either be a kayak or be, from a boat. And this is just a way. You don't have to have YouTube to do it. You don't have to have. You just got to sign up, and that's it. Sign up. You got to have a way to take pictures of the fish and submit it to the website. So
I'll address the two big main concerns with online competition. The first concern is always fees. What are they charging in fees? We charge no administration fees on our side. There's a small credit card fee that gets taken out of the entry fee. That's to take your money from your bank account and put it into my bank account to hold until we do the payouts at the end of the month. So some people complain about fees, but I always liken it to big boat tournaments have to hire polygraphs, and those are extremely expensive. And guess where they come from? The entry fees. The tournament director is not paying for that. You know what I mean? So our fees are very, very cheap. So when these $30 tournaments, a total of about like $28.70 goes into the pot. So $23.70 will go towards the pot for the anglers, and then the $5 big fish. And like I said before, if we feel like that's too low, if the bank guys want to up the ante, we can always change it, and vice versa. If they feel like it's too much, we can always change it lower too. And then the second thing that scares people is it's called cord sniping in our world. When you submit a fish, you have to make sure that your phone has GPS and timestamp set up for pictures, and you have to give Fishing Chaos every accessibility, because when you download the app, it'll say allowed to see where you were at, etc. You have to give it every single capability, because that's how we judge. We have to be able to see you're on public water, you're not at a pay lake, you're, fishing during the correct time frame. That's where the timestamp comes in. You're not submitting a fish that you caught a year ago and kind of like superimposed. Yeah, you can kind of superimpose our picture. Because like I said, you don't plan for your current competition. You always got to plan for the guy who's going to figure it out.
I can give the perfect example of that. Dan just this past one caught a monster fish like a half hour before the 24-hour. And but yeah, it's got to have timestamps on things. That it makes sense on why that happens. And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's good that there is those kind of regulations set in that helps keep that keeps everything running straight, where you don't have that in some of those other situations that we were talking about.
And the big fear there is the administrator is going to look at all your coordinates and have all your secret fishing spots. Well, one, I hate traveling, and I am the only person who gets access to these cords. So, and I film all my fishing. So if anyone ever sees their honey hole in the background of one of my fishing videos, I guess you could accuse me of cord sniping. And I guess the other second concern is maybe the administrator giving cords away. I have a pretty good track record. I've never once given a single coordinate away. When we share my screen, I'm going to walk through exactly what it looks like on my side. We're completely transparent with payouts, with how everything's ran over here. So like everyone's going to see what I see. Now, not everyone's going to see the coordinates. That's just for me. But everyone's going to be able to see how I judge a fish, how I go through everything. And then,
now,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you can go ahead.
And the whole cord sniping thing, the cheating thing, people claim it's so easy to cheat. I compare it to boat tournaments. There's nothing stopping somebody from catching fish, putting them in a bin, dropping an anchor down, and then the next day during the tournament going and picking them up. Like there's a level of trust you have to have in the anglers, no matter what event you're fishing. You know what I mean?
That's actually not just me. That's Kayak Mike runs a lot of that one too. Catfishing Chaos.
Oh yeah, that's Kayak and Cats. Yeah, Catfishing Chaos. Yeah, that's Kayak and Cats.
Share that link out. That'd be awesome for people in Ohio, Indiana, and Kentucky.
I'm going right now.
And Ryan, you've been involved with the kayak tournaments for a while now.
Yeah, about 2 years.
And what's your experience been like with them?
It's been awesome, man. I was a bass guy up until I was on my boat one day and ran into the guy that had the very first one of our regional group tournaments. He had like a 40-pound blue hooked up and was trying to go between me and the bank. And I'm like, what's this idiot doing, And I'm like fixing to yell at him. I hit him with a light, and then I realized that he's on a kayak, and he ain't got no choice but to come through there. He's being dragged through with a fish. And I had a kayak before I got my boat, and I still had it. He's like, hey, yeah, and I got to talking to him online, and he come down and tournament. It's a free tournament down here at Taylorsville Lake. We're just going to have a bunch of prizes to give away. It don't cost you nothing to enter. I'm like, oh, man, come down. I'll hurt you to try. I go down there and I end up winning the tournament with like 4 little old 12-inch channel cats or something. I mean, like little bitty fish. And he said, come out with us next weekend and we'll put you on a big fish. Well, he put me on like a 30-pound fish the next weekend in a little $300 kayak. And I ain't looked back. My bass gear's been laying in the living room ever since. And then this first COVID started, and that's when we started the online stuff. When the COVID hit and kind of shut the boat ramps and stuff around here down. They were closing all the parks. You couldn't get on the water but just certain areas. They didn't want people grouping up. Shut up, Dan. But we started the online tournaments as just the Kayaks and Cats group that was fishing Taylorsville Lake. You know, it was only for that lake when it originally started, but it was an online month-long tournament, you know, and then I think Kayak Mike may have been one of the first ones that was like, hey, if y'all open that up to other places, I'd be glad to join up. And then we opened it up, you know, we said, well, we'll let Ohio play. And then I can't remember who it was in Indiana. They hit us up and they wanted to play. And we're like, sure, but, you know, that's probably about it, because anywhere outside of there, you're getting in better waters, and we're just not going to allow that. And then, a year later, Mike, something like that, we ended up with the national scene, and it's just grown and grown and grown and grown and grown. And this, I'm like, Dan, I think the bank tournament thing is the next step to growing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually think, me and Mike kind of talked about it a little bit, I think a lot of the guys will eventually move up from the bank tournaments to the kayak tournaments, you know, once they see how much fun it is.
Well, I personally myself have never, ever thought about a kayak until like the past few months and seeing y'all do it. And that's like, you know, maybe it's motivation to get me moving and, you know, to try to move to that. But it's just, I've seen so many big fish caught out of a kayak. I actually almost think that a kayak has an advantage, just with the water that they can fish. You fish it so much more thoroughly. You're so much quieter in the water. You can fish smaller water without spooking some of those bigger fish. So yeah, I'm really impressed with how y'all doing the kayak.
I think it's the best flathead tactic. I truly do think it's the best flathead tactic out there.
And Luther Harlow is saying, would it be feasible to do a small boat tourney in this format?
We actually do a local tournament up next to Mike on a lake where we allow boats and bank anglers in our tournament. But it's all done with the measuring board, you know, just the same as we do.
Well, I see it as the sky's the limit. It's just, you know, having somebody that's willing to set them up, get people going in it, have people promote it. And, you know, it's just, and Mike, you already said that if you have a group of friends or whatever that want to do a little tournament or whatever, they can get with you and set one up with you. And we're up to 30 awesome people. Eric Burnside is in, Lucas Pennington, Luther Harlow. What's up, Luther? He's here on the James with us. Fishing with Big Mike is in. Fishing with Big Mike, who's a diehard bank fisherman, says, "Yep, I'm looking for a kayak right now." So I'm sure you're going to see Mike Epperson fishing with Big Mike. I'm sure you're going to see him on these bank tournaments for sure.
Awesome. If anyone's looking for a kayak and you buy a Jackson, make sure you tell them a Kayak Mike sent you.
I saw that you're the Jackson. Okay, so we're going to try to get into J&S Outdoors. How's it going? For anybody just coming in, what we're talking about, everybody knows about the kayak tournaments. Kayak Mike is the one that's really the administrator with those, getting them set up, getting the payouts and everything. Starting in September, there is going to be a month-long from the bank. Boom, fish snatcher with the $5. Boom, boom. Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you. Anyways, there's going to be a 30-day from the bank. The one in September, you can use any board, any measuring. That's going to be the difference between the kayak, the KCT bank tournament, and the other ones, that it's measured by length. The musky board is usually the one that seems to be the best.
So I'm going to take the musky bumper thing. I actually, if I had a musky bumper in place of the catch board this weekend, I would have finished second in the tournament in place of third. Because the catch board is not tall enough, and Mike, you'll see, Mike will show you here in a minute when he pulls his board out, but the fish's nose sticks like this is your fence on the front. The fish's nose is sticking up here on the catch board, and in order to bump it, it's bumped like that, and it sticks over, and it cost me probably 3 inches total for the day, Mike, and I was on 2 inches behind from second place in the finish of the tournament.
Wow.
To answer KC, I'm sorry, Ryan, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Hey, Mike.
To answer Casey's question, catchboards are legal currently. Any catchboard, any musky bumper, and the Rapala Magnum are currently legal. If I can get that deal worked out with musky bumper, part of that deal I offered them would be they would be exclusively our board. We would outlaw every other board and make it so people had to use a musky bumper. Because it truly is the best product right now. We have no affiliation with them, but it truly is the best product for measuring catfish that's on the market. And the fact that they have a $20 and a $55 option now, we're not forcing people to go spend $100 on a board they might use once. You can go spend $20 on the board because the Rapala was $20 as well.
Well, and I want to point out from a person that has not done the kayak tournaments and stuff before, it is so much better for the fish to get that board and you measure it. If you want to get a weight, you take a tape measure and a plastic measure and you wrap it around and get the girth and you do the formula and it's within a couple pounds. It's pretty dang close each and every time. So, and it's so much better for the catfish. You throw it up on the board, you get the measurement. You're not hanging that fish in a net or clipping it onto a thing and trying to pull it up with the scale. And it's just so much better for the fish. So even without being in a tournament, it's just such a better way to get measurements on the fish by using the board.
So while we were talking, I just made a little executive decision here. Since we're doing a free one in September, I just realized there's no reason not to have the tournament live like right now as we speak. I just opened up submissions. So if anyone who's fishing in the September free tournament, I changed the name to August-September month long. You can go start messing with the app now. So you have like 40 days to mess with the app instead of just the whole month of September.
Awesome. So for everybody just coming in, we're about to get into, Mike's going to go into showing the board and measuring the fish and how we submit it. We're going to have Grn Mchn come up in. After that, the fat musky bumper also gives a lot of surface area, even for the bigger fish. I feel that's better than them hanging over a skinny board. True. You
dog.
But so that's one thing.
I'm not far from you, Dan. I got a 40.
That's one thing that the kayak group is. There is going to be a lot of smack talking. That is just part of the game with that.
That's
Justin Fish
is when somebody new jumps in, you're like, is it cool to start talking smack with this guy? You know what I mean? You kind of have to feel people.
Yeah.
Talk it back, or if they're just going to get mad at you. But we have a blast with it. Gives each other so much crap.
All right, so Mike, I saw you got the board. So we're going to get into that. So the month of September, it's opened up now. So it's going to be the entire, all the way up till the very last day, midnight of September. That's correct?
Yep. Midnight September 30th is when the free portion ends, and the last day to sign up for the first one in October is 11:59 p.m. September 30th. The identifier for October, I always do the release scheduled for 7:30 p.m. the night before the tournament starts, whether that's a 1 day, a month long. I always do the 7:30 p.m. the night before, just in case somebody wants to get a good night's rest before they go out in the morning.
Right. And we're going to see Grn Mchn is ready, so we'll add him in here for a second. How's it going? How you doing, Dan?
Hey, what's going on? I think I'm still backstage.
No, you're up.
No, you're up.
I must be lagging then.
So Luther, that's a good question. It can't be a private lake. So in that situation, if you lived on a public lake, fishing from your house would be fine. But if you lived on like an HOA type lake where no one is allowed to fish it, then no, those are not legal waters, even if you live on the lake. Anyone has to have the ability to fish it at any time. Well, not any time, if the park closes at 5 and it's Ohio River, but anyone has the ability to fish there.
Right. I think it's pretty, it's pretty cut and dry with it. If somebody else can go fishing there,
yes,
it's public. If there's a public road that goes to it and you park your car and you can go to the water and fish, it's public. It's, if you got to go through a guarded gate and have granted access to get it, then that's not public because not everybody's allowed to fish from there. So
that's a great question though.
Yep. Okay, so, and Dan, you've been fishing with. Are you caught up? Can you hear all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, you've been fishing with the kayak tournaments for a while. How's your experiences been?
It's been a lot of fun. I like beating up on Ryan every month. No, I'm just kidding. It's so much more than just the tournaments. We're always talking smack to each other, and the best part is we'll talk smack all day, and then somebody catches a nice fish, and you got everybody in the group telling them nice catch. Or somebody's really struggling, we're trying to tell them what to do to give them some ideas to change things up. So you not only compete, you're also like part of a group that's really trying to help each other out. Because the goal, we all just want to get better at fishing.
It's a unique family. It really is. They've talked me off the ledge a few times. I've had some awful streaks.
Yeah, just this past Saturday, Ryan said he was going home. We told him to stay out, and then he caught 2 40-inch fish. Isn't that right, Ryan?
Yeah, definitely. Like, it wasn't even 5 minutes. Like, I'm going home. I'm cold. I'm wet, hungry. I'm done. My batteries are dead. I'm having to paddle. Dan's like, oh, just give it a little bit. And then next thing you know, I'm posting a picture of a 40-inch fish, and he's like, see? Glad we could talk you off that late.
Okay, so Mike, I saw that you had grabbed your board. I'm going to put it on solo screen for you.
Okay.
If you're ready to do that.
Here Let's keep it on the boat.
Throw that out.
Oh, there we go. Just so you all can see the difference. You want to hold that back up again? There you go, Dan.
I wonder
now, I do have a taller fence on here. I talked to Catch for a long, long time, and they built me a taller fence, but that's not something they produce. So that's one modification you'd have to make. The reason I keep this one in the boat is because it only goes to 48 inches, and we've been catching some fish that you'd only get submitted for 48 inches, even if you caught something bigger on a board like this. So I want that full 60 inches.
Okay. Yeah, I can see.
I quit.
Okay, so for everybody who's coming in, there is going to be a month-long bank tournaments series in the Kayak Catfishing Tournaments from now until the last day, midnight of September. It's the entire month. It's free. The link to join is out in the description. So you can join, submit your fish, see if it's something that you'd be interested in. The October tournament, the last day to sign up for that is midnight on the, is it 31st? Is it 31 days in September?
30.
So it'd be midnight on September 30th is the last to sign up for the October tournament. That's a $30 entry fee. So, the month of September, from now throughout September, is the chance to find out if this is something that you enjoy doing, that you'd want to do. It's free. The one for October, that's going to be a $30 entry fee, $5 for big fish, $25 or $23.70 of it goes to the for the actual tournament. And so what we're going to get into now is Mike's going to get into how to measure the fish, how to submit it, etc.
So every single tournament, you'll get an identifier. So the identifier we're using for this example is 2stand. It's going to always be a collection of random numbers and letters. I typically will use actual words and stuff, and sometimes I'll use funny words. Here's your musky bumper. Somebody asked me about orientation. Musky bumper sells left-handed and right-handed. I think our rules say you have to use left-handed. I'm scrapping that. I don't care if you have left-handed or right-handed orientation. It doesn't matter. However, how you measure the fish does matter. They have to be laid on their right-hand side. The left eye has to be visible in the picture. Their nose has to be completely bumped against the fence up here. And your identifier has to be in the picture somewhere. A lot of people just plop it right there on the fish. That's fine. Some people put it to the side. A lot of us in the kayaks, we put it up here on the top because we're still on the boat. If you're fishing the bank, I would probably suggest putting it somewhere on the board just so you don't lose it or accidentally leave it out of the picture. I can't tell you how many times I have taken a picture with my identifier up here, but I cut the picture off here so I don't get the fish doesn't count because the identifier isn't there. We try and work with new anglers if they screw up photos, but things like no identifier, that's a sorry, we can't help you out mistake. You know what I mean? The entire girth of the fish has to be visible in the picture from the nose to the tail. We have to be able to see the entire backside of the fish and then the entire belly. Now, if your arm is like cutting it off because you're holding it like this, and you're kind of cutting it off, that's fine. We can still clearly see the entire fish's girth on the photo. So again, I'll go over it really quick. You bump it up. They have to be laid on the right-hand side, except for flatheads. Flatheads can be measured on their bellies, but channel cats and blue cats, they have to be laid on their right-hand side. The left eye has to be facing up. Your identifier has to be in the picture, and the nose has to be clearly visibly bumped against the tip of the board. If it's not bumped, I'm going to estimate how much you are away from the bump and then go up a little bit. So if I feel like you're an inch away, I'm going to penalize you probably 2 inches. If I feel like you're a half inch away, I'm going to penalize you a full inch. And that's how measuring the fish works. There's other penalties, but that's essentially how easy it is to measure a fish. Put them on their right-hand side, left eye up, nose against the fence. It's that simple. It's really that simple.
It does
And
really
that is
help
what
to have some kind of, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, it really helps to have some kind of sticker on the fence too to help distinguish if the nose is bumped up or not.
Yes, if you scuff up your fence a little bit, that will help the judges out. Mine's just so dirty, you can't tell, but mine's just so dirty that I don't need any markings.
And all I was going to say is that is why the month of September, that's why it's going to be a free. Everybody can get involved. You can try it out. It won't cost anything. It'll get us familiar with taking the picture. So if there is any issues, Mike can say, okay, well, this, he'll go through those. It wasn't up against it. Next time you take the picture, you need to do this type of thing. This way, when there is money on the line, by then you'll already be familiar with getting the pictures of the fish taken and submitting them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've got some gizzard shad I can measure.
And then there was something else I wanted to say really quick about measuring the fish. Can't remember. The whole musky. Another reason why we want people on the musky bumper. Dan touched on this earlier. You only get credit for what's visible on the board. If you're using a 48-inch catch and you catch a 50-inch fish, you only get credit for 48 inches. That's also why we stress people to use the musky bumper, because there have been 50-plus inch fish caught in competition, and that would just absolutely stink if you caught a 50-plus inch fish and you don't get credit for the full length. That would be miserable. That'd be awful. I would probably cry.
Justin, those are available. Mike was talking about they do have several options now. They have a $20 sticker, which is just the measurements, and then you can DIY your own board. They have a new $50 option. And the one that you see there, that's the $90, $100, whatever it is. It's through Muskie Bumper. That is the left-hand version of the Muskie Bumper. There you go. You can see the different.
Mike's got some aluminum channel on his to lock it out.
Yeah, Mike, cover that lock.
I literally was just about to put this away and just grabbed it. Were you guys just talking about the lock? I would just came back on to talk about it. That's too funny. All right. The only downside of the Muskie Bumper, it's a downside and it's a plus. They don't have a mechanism to lock it out. This is 1/2-inch aluminum channel. This is what I'm pretty sure all of us use. We just use 1/2-inch aluminum channel. My board is used for like 17 other purposes on my kayak. So this is permanent, essentially, for me, because there's so much shad guts in here that it's kind of glued to the board. But there's a lot of anglers. They have this board folded in half at all times. And when they do catch that big fish, they just grab their channel, pop it on, measure the fish, pop the channel off, fold the board back up. So, yeah, the aluminum channel for the Muskie Bumper is essentially a must. If you don't have it and you submit a fish, if I see the board is bent up, then you will either the fish will be completely disqualified or I will have to make a judgment call on how much I'm going to take off of the fish. If it is bent away, you just cost yourself inches anyway. There won't be any kind of disqualification, but we really want guys to lock the board out straight.
And actually from the bank, that'll be a little bit easier for us to do.
A lot easier because you're on the bank.
See, it's even hard from a chair. Circle hooks make a good point. Be careful with some of the custom Muskie Bumpers that are sold with some other logo. My old one had a logo over the 20 to 26 inch range, and all the lines weren't there. Hooks and Hammock says, just ordered my left-hand 60-inch fat boy. Now Ryan has to take me fishing.
You know where I'm at.
Looks like Hooks is sold on this. That's awesome. So again, anybody that's Luther Harlow says, random question, do those boards float?
I forgot I muted myself. Yes. That's the best part, I think, is they float. I would have lost. I have a 48-inch catch at the bottom of a river because it doesn't float.
Okay, now from there, let's see, what do we got next? We were gonna.
I got everything pulled up on how to submit it on the app and stuff too. Boom. All right. So for anyone new, Kayak Catfishing Tournaments has a YouTube page. We stream all of our meetings and all of our live streams to this page, to the Facebook group, and to the Kayak and Cats regional group. Within here, you'll find all of our meetings, etc. But there's a playlist down here, Tournament System How-Tos. If you just watch these 5 or 6 videos, there's 7, but the first 5 or 6, if you watch these 5 or 6 videos that are between 2 and 6 minutes long, you'll be just as good as any of us when it comes to submitting fish. So my strong suggestion would be go watch these videos. Anytime anyone has any question, day or night, message me on Facebook. I have my notifications turned off because I'd rather somebody ask me a question when it's fresh, 3 in the morning while they're fishing, than try and wait and maybe forget to send me the question and then be dinged for it later. But over onto how to submit a fish. First, you would have to find the tournament. You go to the groups on the app. Everything from what I'm showing you on the computer looks the same exact way on the phone, so it's directly applicable. So you go to the clubs here. You find Kayak Catfishing Tournaments. Click on Tournaments, Bank Fishing Events, August-September month long. And now the nice thing is on the right-hand side here, you'll have this little tool. You won't see any of this, but you will see this thing down here called default view. If you click on this, every time you open the app, it's going to go directly to the tournament. So you don't have to go through club, profile, find the tournament. So if you're in this tournament, just click on default view right here, and it'll always bring this tournament up every single time. I registered myself for the tournament, so we'll go through submitting a catch. You click on submit catch. This is going to pop up. You click on, there's no penalties if you get the species wrong. So if you misclick or some channels look like blues and vice versa, if you screw it up by accident, no penalty at all for getting that wrong, Ryan. And then if you're in this is one of my favorite features. If you're in multiple tournaments, your first fish of the day, it's going to ask you what you want to submit it to. I can uncheck as many tournaments as I want. I could check as many tournaments that I'm in. It's going to send it to every leaderboard that I'm part of. So bank guys, when you start doing your 24-hour events or 48-hour events or personal events on this, you don't have to go in and submit it to every single tournament. One submission hits every tournament you're part of. So I'm going to unclick my other tournaments. I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm just submitting it to the bank. Length, I don't remember the length. We're going to go to add photo. This is my 32.25 flathead. You're going to type your length in right here, 32.25. This right here is not your GPS timestamp. This is where you're currently sitting at the moment right now. This isn't actually where I live because it's on my PC, but if this was your phone, it's going to show you where you're currently submitting the photo from. This is not the GPS timestamp associated with that picture. That is something I will see on the back end, which I'll show you guys in a second. And then you click on submit. It uploads the photo. It takes about 15, 20 seconds sometimes to get to the leaderboard. You just saw the entry switch to 1. And then I either have to, nope, it already put it up. So now, boom, Kayak Mike's right there, a 32.25 fish. There's 2 leaderboards. The left leaderboard is the standings with your 5 biggest fish. The right leaderboard is the single biggest fish you caught in the tournament because there's a big fish. And everyone's big fish will be listed there, kind of like a step ladder. It's not just going to be the single person who has the biggest fish. I really like that feature. I like seeing everyone's biggest fish. Mm-hmm. And then you go in here. If you hit my name, anyone can come in here. You click on the magnifying glass and you can see. You can zoom in. You see it's clearly past 32.25 right here. The musky bumper, everything's submitted in quarters. So I don't think I said that before. There's no 1/8 inches, etc. You're either at a 1/4 inch or you're at a 1/2 inch or a 3/4 inch or a full inch. That's how you submit all your fish. My identifier's right here. He's clearly bumped. Flatheads have an underbite. So as a judge, I do take that into, they have an underbite. So as a judge, I take that into account, but I can clearly see his top nose is so close that his underbite is more than likely touching. And boom, flatheads get submitted on their bellies. You can submit them on their sides. I don't think that's healthy for flatheads. So we made our rules. You can submit all flatheads of any length on their bellies. However, blue cats and channel cats are a different story. So I'm going to go really quick to a tournament that we are currently having. I will go to a month-long event. We'll go to the July slot. We'll show a perfect fish from JJ. So here is a 31.75 blue cat. All blue cats and channel cats must be laid down on their right-hand side. This eye must be showing. He has this Kayak Catfish sticker here, so it's easier for us to really tell it's clearly bumped. He has his identifier right here, and I zoom in down here, 31.25, 1/2, 7.5. It's clearly touching that line. That's a perfect slot fish. This tournament, the slot was 32 inches. So, and that's how you submit your blues and your channels. And really quick, we will now go into one of my pictures so you guys can see what they look like from my side. I will click on Manage Entry. All right. Here's the picture. This is so now you're going to see what no one else gets to see except for me. This eye right here, this is going to be where I submitted where the fish was pictured. This is where I physically hit the button on my camera. So it's going to say Saturday or Sunday, July 11th, 2021 at 5:51 p.m. And if you zoom in, I mean, this is that's within like 5 meters of where I caught this, or of where I took this picture. I probably caught the fish right here because I was dragging. It probably finished here, but like that's damn good. That's what I see from my side. I go in, I check when it's a larger tournament, I review the people who cash and 1 or 2 places out just in case there's an issue with the people who cashed. I will not review every single picture of every single fish because you would be here for 4 hours checking 20 anglers' fish. I only check the people who have cashed. But that doesn't mean go in if you're not cashing. That doesn't mean go in and lie about your fish because there's a really cool feature in here called the catch log. It keeps all your fish right here for you. And the great thing about this app too, you can go in and put notes on these fish, like how you caught it, where you caught it, when you caught it, the strategy you were using. And they're currently working on a system in Fishing Chaos to where you'll be able to sort. So like, let's say you want to sort every time you went dragging, what fish you caught, where, water temperature, and all that stuff. And there's another system they're trying to pull in. When it takes your GPS timestamp, it goes to another website, grabs all the pressures and everything, the moon phases, and it's going to add all that data to your catch log as well. So you're going to like all this data that is around fishing is going to be strictly by just pressing a button on your phone. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So even if you don't want to tournament fish, you don't have to be a tournament fisherman, by the way, to do this. You can just log into this app and just start making your own catch log and submitting fish to your own catch log for your own personal. Because I used to do an app called like iFishing or something where you could just upload your fish. I don't use that anymore because this has all those features.
That is awesome. And Fishing Chaos, is there a fee? I know that'll be another question.
Yes. So Fishing Chaos charges a really tiny fee. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but it's a really, really tiny fee. If you plan on fishing 10 to 12 tournaments in a year, they have an annual membership and it pays for itself. You never have to pay a Fishing Chaos fee, an individual Fishing Chaos fee per tournament if you become an annual member. They have a monthly membership. If you fish 1 or 2 tournaments a month, the membership pays for itself. The annual is the best, obviously the best option. But it's like a percentage. They don't do a flat $5, which is insane to me. $5 an angler is absolutely insane. They do a small percentage. So it's going to be like $1 or $2 on a $30 entry. So when you go to sign up, if you are not a Fishing Chaos member, your overall entry fee is going to be like $31.50, $32 total. But we're getting this. Some people complain about the fee, but again, I'm like, we're not hiring a polygraph. We're not hiring a $700 polygraph. We're spending $2 a person for all of this. Like, this is amazing.
Right, and then especially even just having that log, but then with the capabilities of having all this other data that we that we just, like you were saying before about watching other YouTube videos as like watching game tape. So to have all that at the touch of a fingertip, that's going to be crazy for an extra $2 or.
Mm-hmm. And the app itself is free. So like I said, if you're not a tournament fisherman and you just want to start logging all your stuff, that's all free. Like you still get all the benefits of all the catch log stuff. You get to make your own personal profile on here. I'm just going to pull mine up because I know it's done. So right here, you can make your own profile when other anglers are looking at you. I got my YouTube link here. All my tournaments I'm currently in and how I'm doing, it's all right here. Other people can go in and jump on these. I should have did this before. Sorry. Other people can go in and like look and see what tournaments that you're part of. Right here, it tells you how many inches of channel cats I've caught, blue cats, flathead, gar, how many you have caught. I did ask them though. I did ask them to add one more thing. They currently have total length of catfish and how many you caught. I asked them to add one more table for average size. So take your 85 catfish that I've submitted, divide it by my 2,000 to give me my average. Because in the future, I want to start doing handicap tournaments where people who historically catch bigger fish would be at more of a handicap, like bowling. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that data is priceless for future tournaments when we start throwing handicaps in there.
Show Dan's stats.
They are. Hold on. I mean, I could. They're pretty amazing. Dan has 7,945 inches of blue cats and 243 fish.
Wow.
If you give me a half a second here, I could tell you what that average is. That's amazing.
I'm just amazed there's a couple of flatheads on there.
That's averaging 32.7 inches. Which 32.7 inches is a good 7 to 12 pound fish, depending the time of the year. Spawn, post spawn, etc.
That is awesome. So, does anybody have any questions up there? I know we're running a little long, so some people have gone over to the 8 o'clock shows. I'll give everybody a second to get them in there. So I know, Dan, I saw that you signed up for the bank tournament in September. Is that correct? I am definitely looking forward to that. I think it said we were at 18 now, and it's not even September yet. So this is, I think it's gonna, that numbers will just keep continuing to grow. Like I said, anybody that's out there, if you want to sign up, from now through September, the September month long is free. The link is out in the description.
Stan, also, if anybody wants to sign up for the Kayaks and Cats regional series, we do allow bank fishing in that, but you're competing against kayaks.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, you are competing against kayaks in it, but you are allowed to bank fish in that series.
And that's in the regional series.
That's Kentucky, Ohio, and Indiana.
So the one I just pulled on screen right here, it's 100% driven on Facebook. There is no app. That's to make it 100% payout for the anglers. And like he said, you are allowed to bank fish. You do not have to obtain your bank spot via a kayak at all. These are the current standings for this current month right here. So,
who's that guy on top?
That's some Kentucky guy. I don't know who the hell he is.
Yep.
Actually,
Yep.
I think first and second is the only Kentucky guys on there.
Yep. Yeah, it's all run through Facebook, and you send money to PayPal. And again, if you have any questions, hit me up. So yeah, that's two viable options for bank fishermen. If they don't mind fishing against people who are in kayaks, they have this. If they live in Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, or they have the national option on the Fishing Chaos app.
Yeah, so Alicia, you're Kentucky, you'd be able to do the bank in the regional tournament against the kayaks, yes. Mm-hmm. But you're also now going to be eligible for the nationwide bank monthly bank tournament. And yeah, go back and double check everything. Mike covered pretty much everything in detail. And also, obviously, the kayak. We have the kayak guys here. So if someone is interested in joining the kayak competition, that's there also. Alicia says, I think my 12 by 36 boat should be considered an oversized kayak.
I don't know. Our kayaks are bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, some are. I mean, heck, I'm in a small boat.
She was
14
actually
by 38.
kayak is bigger than her boat.
That's funny.
Probably a smaller surface area, but bigger in the biggest dimensions.
Yeah.
One shameless plug before we do end. We don't charge any kind of administration fees. The only way we make any money with any of this, Kayak Catfishing Tournaments.store. You can go buy any of our stuff on here. And if you don't see something you want, just let me know what it is. I can essentially put any kind of apparel on this website. I just can't have more than 10 at a time because if I try and make any changes on the back end, it completely shuts the site down. So
That's some pretty slick looking merch right there. And I've actually heard that drinking coffee out of that mug makes it taste better.
yeah, it does. It does. And there's more colors. There's more colors. There's tons of colors out there too.
Raven Cat, how you doing? So just a brief recap. There's going to be so that was what was the name for that site again, Mike?
Kayak Catfishing Tournaments.store.
Kayak Catfishing Tournaments.store. That was the other link that I was trying to get for out in the description, but I didn't get that. But Kayak Catfishing Tournaments.store, where you can find all that slick looking merch. Brief recap for everybody. There's going to be a monthly bank tournament. September is free, starting in October. From October 1st, you have to sign up by midnight on the 30th. That's going to be $30 entry fee, and the prize payouts is based on how many people are in the tournament. But the month of September is free. Great way to get in there and compete against bank anglers from across the country. And we covered that. So all the information is on there. Mike covered the different places where you can go. There's the Kayak Catfishing Tournaments YouTube page, Facebook page, Facebook group. So there's all places to find the information at. So Alicia says, I have a kayak, but I hate that I bought one. Oh, hate the one that you bought.
All right, my supper's about ready. I'm gonna jump off here and go eat something.
Yeah, we're ending it here.
Thanks for having us on, man.
All right. And you want to say anything before you go? Ryan Bortz's link is out in the description.
Go hook that circle hook. He's kind of feeling left out, I think.
Well, I wish I would have known. I would have had him come up. I would have put his link out in there. Circle Hook Productions, yes.
He's been really helpful in chat.
I saw that. You know, one of these Friday nights coming up, we'll have him. I can have him come up on a Friday night show if he'd be interested in that. The next 2 weeks, I'm fishing in a bank tournament, 7 to 7 from the bank. That's tomorrow night. It's going to be on Rebecca's channel. But in September, anytime he wants to come up, we can get that set up with him. So, Ryan, I appreciate you coming in. Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. Dan, you got anything you'd like to add before we get out of here?
I'm just looking forward to it. We already have almost 20 people in that bank tournament, and it's going to be a good time. Don't be afraid to join it. There is no prize to win, no money to be lost. Just come on in and have a good time.
That's right. We already getting strategies going. Mike, how about yourself?
Nope, got nothing. I talked enough this stream.
I appreciate you coming up. That was great job covering all the topics. I think we covered everything that we wanted to cover. If you have any questions, like I said, Mike said you can get a hold of him. I'm sure you can get a hold of one of us. We'd be happy to point you in the right direction. I'm looking forward to this bank thing. I think it's going to be this is all the wave of the future. Mike talk enough, never. So without further ado, we're going to let everybody get out of here. Y'all can jump on over. Fishing with the Chad is live now at the bait shop. But we're going to jump on out of here. Appreciate everybody coming in. Y'all go check out the links that are in the description. We're going to see y'all later.
Peace.